Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the thriller Delia's Gone, and this is from director Robert Boudreau, and starring Stephen James as Lewis, who is a younger man who has some kind of head trauma, which has caused him to have autistic-like traits. We'll get into that. But he struggles with his existence. Apparently he's very violent, which we'll get to that too. And he has a sister Delia who winds up dead, and he winds up finding her, and he's covered in blood, and he's like, I did it, I was drunk last night. And he winds up going to jail for 7 years. But when this man from this small town, played by Travis Fimmel, Stacker Cole, I think it is. I'm like, what kind of names are these characters? Fimmel comes in and is like, I really know what happened. And then, of course, Lewis throws a tantrum and starts being violent, and then winds up leaving his impatient place, and then winds up going on the road trying to solve what really happened to his sister. And, in concept, this is a pretty interesting idea, but in execution is extremely offensive with this horrible representation of autism. And even if he's not technically supposed to have autism, like he's like walking like he has autism, and he's doing like that like really stereotypical walk that you would assume you'd be like, oh, how do I make somebody look autistic? Let them walk this way. And doing all these things, and I feel so bad because Stephen James is a really talented actor, and there's definitely moments throughout this film where that gets to shine above this horrible characterization of this character. And not only that, basically it's like, oh, he has autistic traits. Well, he's just violent. And he just lashes out and wants to hurt everybody. And bodies start piling up along this little investigation he's doing. But not only that, this story is so convoluted. We get this whole entire dynamic between a former sheriff and deputy pairing who are now a state police officer and the new sheriff, with Marissa Tomei, who... Marissa Tomei is so talented, and I feel like she's just in this film, I look angry and stern the whole time. And then Paul Walter Hauser, I think, is really good here. But the places where his character, it just turns into this bickering, and, it winds up having horrible adverse consequences to the overall story. I do feel like Travis Fimmel does a really fine job here. And when Janelle Williams is in the film as Delia, I think she does a fine job. But basically, besides these actors, this story is nonsensical. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is contrived in every sense of it, trying to give this character, Lewis, every chance to just, straight up murder people. Or have to kill somebody. And it happens over and over and over again to the point where it's just like, who am I supposed to be rooting for in this movie anymore? And the cop-out that it gives at the end just feels so unsatisfying and kind of a slap in the face to you who's been sitting here watching this film the whole entire time. But, the direction is just bland. The story is convoluted, absurd. And the screenplay, with how it writes some of these characters, are honestly downright just offensive and uncomfortable to watch. There's so many really uncomfortable moments to watch in this film, and not uncomfortable in building a tension kind of way, just how did they get away with trying to write this character this way? And in the end, this felt like a complete waste. And there was a couple moments where I was prepared to give this a half a star, because if this ending made me even more mad than it did, I was done. Completely done. What they did with the ending felt very contrived and based off of other types of films, better films, but at least it could have been worse. So I guess that's a saving grace. But this cast, that's really the only thing holding any of this up or holding any of it together. But those are my thoughts on Delia's Gone. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.